The addiction to me story. There's a lot of talk about spiritual awakening these days. It's very trendy. There are dozens of podcasts and videos on various methods or pathways to awakening, all at a price, of course. Yet, as I have stated before, awakening is natural, it is organic, and if you simply allow the inner process to unfold within, you'll be there in seconds. No expensive courses, guided meditations, visualizations, wearing a dhoti, wearing a special outfit, or going on a pilgrimage anywhere is required. The underlying reason most of us live in a semi-comatose state we call spiritual sleep is that we actively work against our own good. We actually block the journey. We fight tooth and nail to stay asleep while lamenting our stuckness and misery to all and sundry. If it were not so sad, it would actually be funny, in a very Monty Python kind of way. Some of you may remember the famous Monty Python skit called We Were So Poor. It's available on YouTube at this very moment. It focuses on four Yorkshire men working at a mill for twopence a month and living in a rolled-up newspaper in a septic tank, with each member trying to top the other with suffering. This one's never suffered as much as that one, and so forth. What we're actually seeing there in a very amusing way is the addiction to the story of me and the noble drama that no one else has suffered as much as I have. And the equally toxic, my wonderful life of adventure that is so unique, which is invariably just like everybody else. It serves the same purpose, to live in a story disenfranchised from your eternal inner truth and wondering why you never feel satisfied and you're always seeking something, striving for something, going round in circles and never feeling content. You can't feel content when you're living a story. Yet, in all this suffering, striving, and lamenting, there is a golden nugget that reverses the poison of the fruit of the garden. It is this tiny nugget within your personal story that is literally your salvation, or if you prefer, your wake-up pill. It awakens you by reversing the story into so what, and taking you to the eternal knowing. While you think your story is important, you can never find your eternal knowing. The golden nugget is not the nobility of your struggle or your unique set of circumstances, which are in essence the same with everyone, the same sorts of variations, but nonetheless, everyone works on nobody suffered as much as I have. Your stories, your life struggle, and your particular rolled up newspaper in your particular septic tank is the distraction that you create for yourself to ensure you remain asleep, but snuggled up in that rolled up newspaper is a gift, perhaps covered in poop, but gold cannot be tarnished. Spiritual awakening requires you know less, not more. It means your story does not define you. It means you're comfortable with knowing less and less until you come to the place of total not knowing, which is below thinking, such as being drunk or drug, that gets in the way. It means you've risen above thinking to the goal of living in relaxed alertness. You have surrendered the desire to know or understand or to work things out. The mind subsides and the confusion just dissolves because you are no longer reinforcing its edifice, the brick wall of needing to label, to offer narratives, to top stories, to complain, moan and groan, because there's nothing to work out anymore. And that is the awakened state. It is not less, it is more. It is the allegiance to truth and not the story. Awakening is not a goal so much as a new vehicle that forms within as you gradually use your mind differently. No longer aligned with stories, no longer living in the one-size-fits-all template offered by this world. The sense of who you are comes to you now in a much deeper way. The me, along with your stories, is the barrier. The paper-thin barrier that locks you into a delusion and walls you off from living your inner truth. Every time you repeat your story to friends or relatives, who may also try to top your story with their tale of struggle, or worse, commiserate with your terrible experiences, with lots of attention, pity, secretive eye rolling at this juicy bad news about poor little you. And isn't it so sad? And they can't wait to tell all their friends the latest hot goss. That scenario is your prison. And because no one has suffered as much as you have, you need to spend an absolute fortune on special awakening courses or workshops, special uniforms, meditation techniques, pilgrimage, and so forth. And because you're so unique and your story is one of a kind, a simple course or seminar workshop will not work because you're so deep. Because you need the special intensive. You need to actually go to India and crawl up that mountain on your hands and knees. Because no one has suffered as much as you have. Because no matter what you do, you just can't get out of that rolled up newspaper in the septic tank. The you think you are is what we usually call today the ego. But of course this word has been outgrown. The ego is not just a look at me tactic anymore. It is a whole edifice of identification with the false, and the gosh darn it, we are so fond of it. We even think it has value, yet it is inherently a barrier or a block to truth that you needed initially in order to enter this particular matrix of experience. Like an elevator, perhaps. Once it's served its purpose and you've arrived in the matrix, you can and you should lovingly discard it because the aim of the game is to wake up while you're in the matrix. The aim is not to see how long you can tough it out by being utterly miserable before doing a lengthy awakening course and spending an absolute fortune going to India and probably getting stomach issues as well. The old adage of less is more is the key takeaway. Gathering more diplomas, certificate-intensive workshop diplomas, not only empties your pockets, it actively strengthens the problem. Or you might say it laminates the rolled-up newspaper in the cesspit. Let the paper dissolve into that septic tank and take that tiny golden nugget with you. And then the story you defend and support will have gifted you with the most precious knowing. And that is the inner knowing, the truth of who you are. And ain't that grand? Even if British humour is not your cup of tea, watch this very short video and ask yourself which character you're currently expressing in the skit that is your life. Because ultimately, we can all be the Yorkshiremen lamenting their sorry life. Blessed be.